Hi there. My name is Bernadette Dunn, and I am a cybersecurity solution executive with Microsoft. And what that really means is my role is to help our clients navigate the complexities of cybersecurity. I created this video because I recognize everyone's time, especially in this space, is incredibly precious. And before you commit to a meeting or a call, I thought maybe just creating some content for you and see if it's something that resonates might help. And if anything in here piques your curiosity to learn more, then of course we can schedule, a 30-minute call, and I'm happy to answer questions, hear your feedback, and just see if there's anything that I can help you out with. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. I put a presentation together today. I call it Demystifying Risk, Threats, and Vulnerabilities, because these are some commonly mixed up terms in the industry. I would imagine from your perspective, you probably have a clear understanding of what these terms mean, but maybe this video could be shared with someone that you've been beating your head against the wall trying to explain why risk assessments are so important, or why you need to get your budget and certain things on there prioritized. And again, if you've got any feedback or comments, or maybe you want to do a video with me in the future, let me know. I love doing this kind of stuff. So one of the things I found was helpful was creating this formula, A plus T plus V equals R. So again, these terms are commonly mixed up, but helping others understand them, we start with the A, which is the asset. And a company's responsibility is to protect their assets, whether it's their internal assets or for financial services, which is a highly regulated industry, and a industry that we work quite a bit with. The assets a lot of times are their clients' private information. The T represents the threats. So a threat is anything that can exploit a vulnerability, which I'll share what that is next, either intentionally or sometimes accidentally. So a threat can be accidental, it can be intentional, and it's again, anything that can exploit a vulnerability intentionally or accidentally and obtain, damage, or destroy that asset, that thing that you're trying to protect. The V stands for vulnerability, which is the weaknesses or gaps. And in this example, in a security program. So again, if you're protecting an asset, the vulnerability would be any weaknesses or gaps in the security program that can then be exploited by the threats to gain unauthorized access to an asset. So again, using this formula, that A plus T plus V then equals R, which is risk. And a risk is the potential for loss, damage, or destruction of that asset, that thing you're trying to protect, as a result of a threat exploiting a vulnerability. It's no question why these terms are commonly mixed up, because as you can see, even by definition, they're used interchangeably. But here you go, ATV. So if you think of the ATV, the asset, I love writing ATVs. I think it's so much fun. I'm a little bit of a risk taker myself. But A is the asset, the you writing it. T, the threats could be anything. It could be, potholes, or it could be wild animals. It could be other people. And then the vulnerability is you being on that ATV, fully exposed to any of those threats that can jump out and attack you, which then would make you at risk for injury. All right. So maybe that can help kind of keep those terms, A plus T plus V equals R, the risk. All right, but let's walk through a specific example that could impact your role, your responsibilities, your organization. So the example I'm using here is the asset being your customer's private information. And in financial services, which again is an industry that we work pretty closely with, the private information could be their social security number, their net worth, their account information. So your job is to protect those assets, and the customer is relying that you've got your security postures in place to protect their assets. The threat, number one threat in the industry is email phishing. No surprise there. But for financial services sector, they're targeted more than any other industry, actually 300 times more likely to be attacked by various threats. The top 5 in the industry for the financial services sector is the DDoS attacks, web application attacks, mobile device is a threat, data breaches, and also insider threats. Yeah, so insider threats, which brings us to the vulnerabilities. So let's take a look at these insider threats and how they also then increase the organization's vulnerabilities. Insiders are the company's most valuable assets. They're your employees, but they can also become the most dangerous assets, and often unknowingly. And that's why this creates vulnerability. So in 2016, 58% of cyber attacks on financial institutions were from insiders, but only 5% were malicious. So I'm going to say that again. 58% of cyber attacks on financial institutions were from insiders, and only 5% were malicious. That leaves 53% accidental or unintentional. The significant gap here, the vulnerability, are that the employees, they're unknowingly doing this. So the vulnerability is them not knowing the security postures. And again, it can come through email phishing, or social engineering is another pretty common one for these institutions. So the risk for your organization would be a poser looking like your customer and tricking your well-intended or well-intentioned employee, to clicking on that email or sharing information over an unsecured social engineered platform. So let's just do a quick recap here. With the A plus T plus V equals R formula. So the asset is your customer's private information. Your threat are your employees, well-intended, not malicious. The vulnerability is their lack of knowledge of the security policies, and we'll say, for social engineering. So the vulnerability may be sharing information on Twitter, and the risk are the posers that look like your customers on Twitter and watching and seeing what your employees are unknowingly sharing and doing. So if the number one threat are well-intended employees, how do you know what they don't know as it relates to your company's risks? It's kind of an age-old question here in the coaching and consulting world. How do you know what you don't know? So again, my intention today is just to share some wisdom, share a little bit of content. Hopefully this was a little bit valuable. And And what we can do to help you answer that question is we can be that outsider's view to see what you can't see from the inside. It's completely best practice for our financial services clients to have, annual or quarterly risk assessments. But how often are you engaging a specialized security partner to also give you that outsider's view to help you see or help you find out something that you may not know already from the inside? MSI, we embrace the NIST model. We have over 27 years cybersecurity experience, which makes us the oldest boutique firm here in the Midwest. So a lot of wisdom, knowledge, expertise. We provide 3 reports. We recognize that often the board needs to understand what the risks are. So we provide an executive level report. We provide a technical manager report, which can help prioritize, it's kind of jumping ahead there, but it'll help prioritize what to focus on, for your 2020 budget. And then we also provide a technical details report, which is actionable and again helps prioritize the findings with complete mitigations. Access to our expert security engineers throughout the engagement. So that is something that our clients we've learned really appreciate and value. So you do have access if you've got questions or want to challenge some of the findings as we go throughout the engagement. We, again, can help prioritize your budget. So if you haven't done your annual risk assessment or you haven't done one with a third party, now's the time. We can help you out. And then we can also, because of the reporting and the findings, help you prioritize what to put on the budget for 2020. And if you have already completed your annual risk assessment or quarterly risk assessment and you feel complete there, I want to share a couple supplemental offers that we provide, which include a network assessment with one of our patented software as a service technology called Machine Truth. And it can provide mapping and inventory of your network. And then another service we offer supplementally to our risk assessments are the penetration testing. So if any of this sounds interesting and you'd like to continue the discussions or want to share this with a colleague, we welcome that. And I, again, just want to thank you for taking this time to meet me here virtually. And let's stay connected. I welcome your feedback. And again, if you'd like to share your wisdom and do a video with me on a specific topic, I am happy to host that. And until next time, I wish you a wonderful week and look forward to maybe meeting you over the phone or in person soon. Thanks again.